Resume recording. Okay. Yes. Okay, so I finally got this working. I'm gonna open the 4 pictures I took with Adobe Photoshop. Remember, this works for pretty much anything. I did one where I took all 3. Thank you again, Angel, for letting us take pictures. Remember, I did these on the windowsill, a little bit more even lighting. Outside is the best, right? And you obviously don't want a big shadow. Okay, so everybody looking here? You guys okay over there?
Yeah.
All right, please look up here. Again, we're gonna do this together, but I'm just showing you the technique that we're gonna do. All right, so here's an image. I'm gonna unlock this layer. As you know, like Procreate, Illustrator, Photoshop, most graphic programs work on a layered system, right? I'm gonna click right here in Photoshop. The first thing you ever wanna do is click where it says background. I like to call this original. This is the old school way. Command J will make me a quick copy, right? Why do I do that? So I can see what happened originally and what I've been modifying throughout the whole process. All right. I think we got to rotate this one real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the whole canvas on this one. So we're going to go to image rotation. I'm going to do flip canvas. No, 90 clockwise. Yeah. 90 clockwise. Is this the correct way, Angel, that it should look? More or less, right? Well, but I mean, it's not upside down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. And I can rotate it a little bit right now. I'll show you. All right. So say we got this, right? We're trying to isolate this image. Yes. And some of you guys may know Photoshop. Some of you guys may not. Remember, I was talking earlier about this being an RGB image. What does that mean? Yeah, red, green, green. Yeah, like red, green, green. Red, green, blue. I just made up a word, all right? Bleen. That's a new color. Now, we don't realize that there's red, green, and blue colors in here, but there is, right? Visually, there is. But what we do is we're going to get rid of some of these little textures. It's kind of hard to see on the overhead, but there's a lot of gray, there's a lot of smudge. But watch what we're gonna do. Simple technique. We convert our image. We go to image, mode, this is color modes, to grayscale. I know it's kind of hard to see up there. I gotta move the projector, but this is being recorded. It'll be clear. So we select grayscale. Grayscale means don't merge. Grayscale means that we're throwing away all the color information. We don't want RGB. We want nothing but, if we zoom in, you see nothing but gray, black, and white pixels, right? You guys see them if I zoom in? So there's nothing else on this except dark black, gray, and everything in between. There might be some white pixels, right? That's what we want. We want to convert it to where there's nothing else but black and white stuff, okay? So very quickly, what I'm going to do here is say I'm trying to isolate this image. Watch what I'm going to do. Very simple, using the lasso tool in Photoshop. That's one of the easiest ways to do selections. Notice I have a feather of 0 when I use the lasso tool. If I have a feather here, that means the edges are going to be soft. I do not want soft selections. I want hard edge selections. So I'm going to go like this. Most of you guys know how to use the lasso tool. And I go all the way around, and it kind of selected this area, right? I can do several things. What I'm going to do is down here in the color, on the colors, I don't know if you guys can see my toolbar. Let me move it. I can't move the toolbar. Oh, there it is. So there's my toolbar. Photoshop is a little bit different from Illustrator. I know we haven't covered Illustrator, but notice down here at the bottom, you got foreground color and background color in Photoshop. So I have this, you guys see this selection? See how it's like little dashed lines? That means it's ready for me to fill it. I'm going to use white as the fill color. Option delete. Option delete is the quick command, and it fills it with that layer, with that color. I'm going to do the same thing over here in the corner, all the way. Option delete. I've now isolated my object. Down here too, we've got a shadow. I'm going to go like this. Everybody watching? Option delete. I've isolated everything. Now, here is the trick, which most people don't ever do, but I'm going to show you guys. Command L. What does that mean? That means I can bring up a levels window in Photoshop. Now, what does this do? Well, if you look close, and there's also Command M, Command U for curves and saturation. I'll show you guys those later. Basically, this is what we call like a histogram or a little visual of all the pixels in this image. Since we have only gray, there's only one channel. That means there's only grays, blacks, or whites. That's it, right? So if you look at the little sliders, there's a dark one, which is all the dark colors. There's a medium tone gray one, which is all the grays in between. And there's the white, which is the ultimate lightest pixels in this whole image, right? So let me zoom out. So watch what's going to happen. I am going to slowly move some of these sliders. Look at how it's getting really, really dark. It's almost like inking it in. Now you see some of the background stuff. I move the gray to where I'm going back, and then I move the white, right? So I'm getting a very high contrast somewhere around there. Notice how those are almost touching. See how I get too much? So it's right about there is my balance, somewhere around there. I would say right there, and I can move the gray one a little bit. You guys can see it. And then I can move the white back over here. It's almost like they're merging onto each other. I'm trying to create the cleanest line art possible. So I like it there. Now, one thing you guys see is right here, the line was very thin. See how it doesn't connect, right? That can be an issue later once we throw it into Illustrator. Some of you guys may want to come back in here, get the very fine pencil tool in Photoshop. There's a pencil wherever that is. It's hiding from me right now. I think it's here. There it is, pencil tool. I can zoom in. I can make sure I have black as the fill color. And I come in here and I can literally just kind of draw with it. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm sealing off these little lines. Just doing this manually. And you'll see why I'm doing this. We don't want little gaps sometimes. It's very minor here. But that's why you want your drawing to always be as clean as possible. All right?
Also, how do we zoom in again?
Command minus, command plus. All right? Again, this is not perfect. I'm just showing you guys. So see, already I isolated everything. I cleaned up the image. I used my levels after I made it grayscale. And I have a very pretty clean line drawing. There's a few specks here and there. You can always come back and delete those. I'm going to hit save. Always in Photoshop, we save as a PSD. Do not be that person that leaves everything named untitled. Anybody do that? No? All right, don't do that.
Even with music, they tell us, hey, make sure you name your
Yes.
I don't care what it is, name it.
Yeah, Angel, what is this called? What do you call this thing?
Window.
Angel window. All right. And always in Photoshop, always save as a PSD first. That's fine. PSD, this is what you guys are going to learn. Photoshop document. Don't do JPEG, PDF. Don't do any of that yet. There's a reason to do that later. Okay. And if you look right here, there's the Photoshop format. That's automatic. Don't read my stuff, man. Just wait till I have to pay taxes. Oh my God. Anyway, so check this out. Everybody looking? This is very important. Please also do not be a person, a young person in the digital age and thinks that they can go over here. Everyone watching? I've seen this all the time. Oh, that's a JPEG. Oh, I want this to be a PNG. Do not do that. All right? That does not work. All right? You're just going to cause problems for yourself and for other people that may be working for you. That's one thing that I also want to stress. In the future, some of you guys may work with other people. You may work with 10 other people in a studio. And there's even a naming hierarchy, a system for naming stuff. And if you don't play by their rules, they're not going to like you. All right? So this is a true thing. Always leave stuff what it is. All right? Now, once you save it once and you want to save it as something else, for example, we were done, and you say, I want to save this as a JPEG, then you do it the right way. You do it this way. You go like that, you saved it. Then you do a file save as or Shift Command S, right? Save on my computer. Check this out. Notice here, this is very important. Notice how there's two options here. Always look at everything. There's Photoshop, where we were. It only allows you those 4 formats. But if you do this, right, it will allow you to save in multiple formats like JPEG. So I'm going to hit JPEG. Cool. All right. So I have my original PSD and I saved a JPEG. Now the PSD stays open. Command W is close. I'm not going to do the other one yet. So I saved a new JPEG. Now I'm going to go to Illustrator. Check this out. This is the fun part. I'm going to go to Illustrator, create new document. We're working in print for now. So notice, and again, I'm going to post this. You don't have to follow along. I'm showing you print is always good, right? Because it's going to naturally set it up in what we call CMYK color. See how there's CMYK? If you select print, it's going to automatically set it up in that. Now, I'm going to do inches as far as the measurements, right? We still use inches. I like using sometimes metric, millimeter, centimeter when I'm doing stuff that's very accurate. But for all intents and purposes, we're using the English system. And that sheet of paper that you guys have, the printer paper that you draw on, please make sure you understand it is this size. It is a standard letter size document. That is the standard. It's 8.5 by 11. It is not 8 by 11.5. It is not 8 by 11. It's 8.5 by 11. All right. There's a whole story of why it's that size. Okay, but we're not going to deal with that right now. I like to say, you guys will learn this. This is monito up or monito sideways, portrait, landscape, right? Some of you guys will pick that up. Some of you guys won't. We're just going to do a portrait. That's fine. Create. You guys watching? All right. So we cleaned up our drawing in Photoshop, right? Using the levels, converting it to grayscale. Now, the reason for that is because Illustrator is going to redraw it for us using image trace. Now, if you had a lot of stuff in image trace and little specks and stuff, it's going to try and draw those. And sometimes it will limit you from actually drawing what you want. So that's why you isolate what you want, clean it up using grayscale, using levels, and then you replace it back into Illustrator. All right, so check this out. I don't know where I saved it. I should have noticed. Desktop. Let's call it Angel. There it is, Angel Window Copy JPEG. Cool, everybody watching? Shift Command P or File Place. Now, some people say, why don't you just drag and drop it, Novo? This is the correct way. Can you drag and drop stuff? Yes. But the correct way is to do File, Place, or Shift Command P. If this wasn't true, there wouldn't be this option. And the reason for this is when you place something, it links it to wherever it is on the computer. Anyone ever done a PowerPoint and you were trying to include videos or pictures, and then you saved it on a computer, took it to another one, and then said, hey, this stuff's missing? Anybody? Yes? No? Maybe? You know what I'm talking about? So these are linked images when you place them into Illustrator. They are not permanently part of it unless you embed them, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So here's my placed image, right? Notice I was even able to kind of scale it when I first found it, placed it, sorry. Check this out. I can actually place it and scale it larger. Initially, it'll maybe let me make it any size, right? And then I showed some people earlier, you can make copies in Illustrator very quickly by just dragging with your Option and Shift, or just Option, and you drag your object, let go of the keys, and you can make copies. I know some people are like Command C, Command V, but you guys are going to learn the quick commands very quick here. All right, so here's what's cool. And I put them over here so you can see they do have a white background. Some people say, oh, go back to Photoshop and clean out the white. You don't have to. Illustrator is going to do it for us. We're going to select our picture. I'm going to go to Window, and there's a window called Image Trace right here. Excuse me. There it is. Zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. And as long as I have it selected, I click down here on Preview. It's going to tell me, hey, this is going to take a little while because we're looking at all the pixels and stuff. That's fine. Notice I have a little advanced little arrow right here. And if I don't want a white background, I literally click right here. It says ignore white right here on the base of this window. You see it right here, ignore white, preview. You must click those for it to activate this. Now, you do have a little bit of leeway as far as detail. If I move this little threshold slider, it kind of gives me more or less. I don't know if you look real close at the image. See how it gives us a little bit more grittiness or less. If I move it all the way down, watch this, it gets really weird. And if you do the extreme, or if you do this, just you lose it, right? So there's a fine balance. Okay. What's cool is what happens next. Say that you're okay with this. Everybody looking? All right. Is it going to be exactly like the pixel one that you place down here, the JPEG? No, but it's very close. Okay. Next step. Watch this. You hit expand. This is the second step. If you don't do this, it never becomes fully vector, which is what Illustrator does. I hit expand. You say, okay. Boom. What did this do? Well, it made it into a totally editable, and it will never lose resolution at this point, right? It's super sharp. You see all these little specks? If they bother you, you can come in with your direct select arrow. Notice how you have a regular arrow in Illustrator, right? Remember, we're back in Illustrator now, right? This direct select, and I can select tiny little specks like that guy, drag right over them, hit delete. So I can literally clean up my image if I wanted to. I'm not going to do a lot of that, right? Some of these little specks are connected, but see how I selected those by clicking over and dragging them like this? Now I got to be careful. I can't do this because then I select everything. And if I hit delete, it'll delete all that. So you got to do it like you're picking clean, like a fossil or something. Boom. I hit delete a couple times. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to maybe get this. See how you got to be very careful. Sometimes they're connected, right? But this is vector. Now watch this. Everybody watching? This is so cool. Once you have it in this format, you can do pretty much anything. Watch this. I'm going to drag this over and make a copy with my option. And again, we're all going to work on this together here. And now that it's vector, I can come in here and I can change the colors. Oops, go to color. If that happens to you, my default always goes to grayscale. You go to the window, color palette, this one. And then you change this to CMYK. And now I made it red. Cool. I could make a quick copy of that and do a green version.
Yeah, and you can like layer them.
I could make another copy and make it blue, a fake RGB version of it, right? But there are still 3 separate objects. And then if I select them and I go to window and I go to transparency, this is Illustrator for you. Transparency lets me select different color modes on each of these, or transparency. These are non-destructive filters. They just let you, oh, look at that. They just let you put these little filters on these shapes, and it's just temporary. You can always undo them. But just by doing that, look, all of them are kind of transparent and they overlap. And where they overlap, the colors kind of do their own thing. Cool?
Yeah.
I can select those. I could try, and that's all of them at the same time. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? I'm already manipulating my originally hand-drawn image just by doing some of this stuff. There's one called difference. Oh, that's so interesting, right? And then I could actually select them and use all my tools that I have here to do stuff, right? And I was showing students earlier, you can do so many things in Illustrator where you can get something that you just drew and manipulate it. Oh, that's kind of cool. That already looks like something, right? And then you can change the colors. You can use your eyedropper. I'm even going to do a gradient right now on one of them, right? So there's a lot of things you can do once you reconverted your artwork into vector. And what's cool is you can keep going back and forth through Photoshop and Illustrator, and it just keeps changing and evolving, right? And obviously we can manipulate these in Illustrator. I'm gonna put it back to black here. No stroke, right? So I could literally come in here and delete some of this stuff. Now it would take some work. See like this little tab looking thing there. I could grab part of it and scale that down a little bit. See how I'm stretching it? Yes. Cool. Right? I can manipulate it even if I just had to nudge it a little bit. Right? I could go over half of it like this and drag that out. Oh, that looks weird.
Oh,
Yeah, are you okay there?
yeah.
Oh,
now it's looking, yeah, now it's looking like a cassette or a boombox or something. I don't know.
it's a cassette tape with some ghost-
Yeah. All right. Okay. So check it out. I'm gonna put together a sticker real quick. This is basically what we're gonna do. You can do simple stuff. We could add some text. Somebody give me one word. A nice word.
Potato.
A nice word. What?
Potato. Well, we could just put couch potato.
Right. So I do a little text. Option drag. Command T. Command T brings out my character palette. I'm just gonna use some font that's in here. Well, I have the Star Wars font in here. It's called Distant Galaxy. Let's see. There it is. Ooh. All right. All right. So watch this. This is what's cool about Illustrator. Everybody watching? Now I'm gonna put the text on its own layer, new layer, text. And I'm gonna drag that onto its own layer. Somebody knock? No, right? All right. What time is it? Oh yeah, I gotta hurry up. Okay, so check it out. Everybody watching?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do a quick sticker here. And I'm gonna provide on Schoology today. I'm gonna upload a separate file that's called the cut line. We need that line to tell the printer where to cut. So new layer, cut line. It's gonna be simple, just a few layers. So we got the cut line layer that'll be on top. We've got the text layer, we've got the artwork layer, and we've got a background color, new layer, background color. Let's do a 3.5 inch circular sticker. All right, you guys watching? All right, so if I say the specified size for our sticker is 3.5 inches circular, we're gonna go over here to the toolbar on Illustrator. Again, we're gonna do this together in class next time. Ellipse tool, there's no circle tool, they just call it the ellipse tool. By the way, if you're looking here, notice each of the tools that has a little tiny little white triangle at the bottom, right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in.
The way to expand on it.
That means there's more than that tool. So if I click and hold right there, notice we've got a tear off. You can drag this guy around. And just for some funniness, back when they first started this, I think it was like CS 2 or 3, somewhere around there. The guys who programmed this program, Adobe back then, we're talking 10, 15 years ago, I don't know. They didn't realize that their programming let you open multiple of these. Like I could do that over and over and over. And one time, just to be funny, I filled the whole screen with these little tear outs. Yeah, but then they stopped it at some point. See how it only has one. But anyway, all right. So here's my circle. This is my background layer. Everybody looking? Give me a nice color. What do you guys want?
Yeah, purple.
All right, let's go purple. And I'm going to do a gradient. So yeah. So everybody looking? I'm looking for a purple. Right about here. Somewhere in there. How do you like that one?
Faded.
Purple rain
What about like a faded?
prints. Well, wait, watch what I'm going to do. So here's what I'm trying to explain about Illustrator. Everybody listen to this. Listen, Linda, listen. And I know right now some of you guys are trying. Don't worry. We're going to do this together. Illustrator is basically construction paper art on steroids. What I mean by that, if you think two-dimensionally flat, right, you have to think about your Illustrator files that way. Now, anything you create as a shape, it's almost like if you cut it out of construction paper, right? You just tell it what color to be, and you can change it. You can copy it many times. Remember how I showed you guys right now the option drag, right? Check this out. If I scale down, whoops, if I drag an object or group of objects and I hold down the option, it knows that I want to copy it, right? So if I let go of my mouse, let go of my keys, it made a quick copy. Not this Command C, Command V. But here's what's cool. Everybody watching? I can create patterns. Anybody here interested in fashion design? Some people should. All right, Alan. Okay. So what I mean by that? Well, pretty much any clothes that we wear, if anybody looks at the bottom of their soles of their shoes right now, there's typically a pattern or combination thereof. Yes? Industrial designers work closely with graphic designers, and sometimes they do both. And that's one thing some of you guys should look into, industrial design. I'm looking at my Nikes. I've got basically pentagrams on my, not pentagrams. Yeah, 5-sided, right? Yeah. I'm not talking devil worship here. Pentagrams. They're 5-sided.
Star there.
No, yeah.
Pentagons. You're talking about pentagons.
Pentagons. I'm sorry. My mind is somewhere else. Pentagrams. Right? Is that what we said? Huh?
Pentagon.
Oh yeah, pentagons. Sorry. All right. Anyway, so I'm looking at them, right? Believe it or not, this is how they produce a lot of textures on textiles, things made out of plastic, the buttons. Well, now a lot of the new cars don't have buttons for their radios, they're touchscreen. But check this out, everybody looking? You can at will, I guarantee you next week or this week, you'll be able to make patterns at will in Illustrator. Check this out, everybody looking? You okay there? All right. So what's cool about this is once you learn how to do this, you can literally do anything and you can group stuff and then you can select only parts of it if you want. Everybody watching?
Yeah.
And you can start creating stuff. This could also be transferred directly to Adobe Animate and you can create animations, 2D animations. You can rehash this and throw it back into Photoshop and create some, I don't know if you guys know, Photoshop has like a timeline feature that you can kind of slowly animate stuff, right? And make little videos with it. You can take this and create custom video graphics once you learn Illustrator really well. I don't think anybody ever watches the local news anymore, but in the old days, they used to have graphic designers actually create all like the little clouds for the weather and stuff. And you can actually, anybody do video in here? So, has anyone heard of a PNG extension graphic? Anybody know what that stands for? Portable network graphic. If you've ever worked in TV in the old days, you would know what that is. And that means you can create stuff using Illustrator, Photoshop, and you create transparent graphics that you can overlay onto live video. That's how they used to put logos and stuff. And they still do, but it's more automated nowadays, right? But if you ever seen a football game, soccer game, any kind of sports event, you guys see the score, those graphics? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Guess what? People like you create those custom designed portable network graphics. That is still a big industry, all right? So if you learn Illustrator, it's gonna help you. So everybody watching, watch this. Nothing can stop me from doing this and making multiple copies of stuff. I can overlap, right? I can change colors at will. I can select all these guys. Watch this. And in just a few seconds, I can do crazy stuff like this. You guys watching? Do some built-in filters. These are just built-in filters. I like these. These are called pucker and bloat, transform, zigzag. Watch this. Pucker and bloat. Almost sounds like a bad word. No, anyway. And I say, okay. And now what were little circles, now they're little hashtags, right? Or I can just select some of them. Check this out. What if I only select some of them? You guys watching? Watch this. What if I select just one row and I get that one and I scale them? And as you can see what's starting to happen. It's just, I can do anything. And then those guys, I do an effect and let's do a pucker and bloat. Let's go the other way. And it makes some other shapes. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I like that one. Very vintage 60s stuff. And then I can copy and paste. Again, it's just totally editable. and I can do so many things. And I'm just kind of like making a design here. This could be like a groovy 60s album cover or something. I don't know, just whatever's happening. And then, huh? Yeah. And then the last part, check this out. Now, a word to the wise, what I'm about to do. You guys ready? You can take this stuff. Yeah. Now, if you keep holding that down, yeah, if you keep holding this down, eventually the computer will run out of memory. I already know Daniel's going to try this, right?
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah, he's too
All right.
lazy to move his fingers.
Yeah.
Good?
I'm the same.
I'm just chilling.
All right. So anyway, so just so you guys get the idea of what is possible with this stuff. Again, I just went real quick. I'll get back to the sticker part. That's all right. So anyway, there I did a twist. I did a twist on it. As you can see, my computer, my laptop's very old and slow. It's already having issues, but we just made that real quick. And I'll show you guys more about this later. All right. And what's cool about this is, say you don't like it, you select it, delete it, gone. Cool. All right. So back to our sticker. How do we know this is 3.5 by 3.5? You get your tools, you click once, you can tell it to be, I don't know if you guys can see, let me zoom in. Guess what? If I tell it 3.5 by 3.5, that is a perfect circle. I know that's exactly 3.5 inches, right? Everybody saw that?
Yeah.
So we're back to our color. I'm going to do a quick gradient. We have gradients in Illustrator, just like many other graphics programs. Now, let me tell you something about the gradient window. At first, when you first start using Illustrator, me included in 1996 or 7 or so, you get addicted to using gradients. All right. They're usable in some ways in graphic design, but they're actually very rare as far as using them all the time. All right. Gradients are cool. Check this out. I'm going to activate this one. You guys watching? I grab this little swatch and I drag it onto the gradient window, and now it combined it. To have a true gradient, you got to have two colors no matter what. If you don't like one of these colors, see my little gradient window here? I grab it right there where the little slider is, drag it down, it takes away. Now I can spread these two colors out. I can add another one by clicking here and double clicking, and I could incorporate another. Yeah. How about like that? Okay. And then I can move the sliders and blend the colors, and I can put the white in the center. See how they move? And you can have something cool like that. And even better, right here, there's some presets. Here's a radial. That means from the center out. And you can move these around as well. All right. See how they move? That one looks almost like it's blending into the background. And then there's little sliders on top. I don't know if you guys can see them. I'm going to show you guys this. Don't worry. See how little sliders? They let the colors blend easier or smoother, right? You have total control. All right. That's coming. Don't worry. All right. And then lastly, there's the actual gradient tool on the toolbar. I don't know if you guys see this guy here. You guys see it? If and when you choose it and you have a gradient on an object, you can actually choose to drag it. Oops, I wanted the linear one. Sorry. This one. You can actually choose and draw it across the shape, and it will blend according to that shape in that direction. See? It's almost like it's masked off. And you could actually apply it to the image trace. Watch this. If I click my little eyedropper, boom, it applied it to this. So we can apply gradients to it too. Oh my God, look at that. Didn't like that. Oh, there's tons of little gradients in there. Hee. Very nice. Okay. Let's go back. All right, last step. So here's my 3 by 3 inch, 3.5 by 3.5 inch sticker. I'm gonna come in here. Again, this is a very simplified version, right? If you wanna do text on a shape, watch this. Say you wanted it circular, you draw another circle, everybody looking? Get the potato, double click it, copy the text, right here under type, there is a type on a path, this guy. Now be aware when you use this function and you click on something, it's gonna use up that something. If I click on this circle, notice how the circle went away. I do paste, there's my circle. I bring that in. Now it does not conform because the circle I used was not the right size. I had to find the size that it was kind of related to my original circle. So it's going to be somewhere around here. Oops, I don't want to stretch it. And you're going to say, no, well, that's not very spread out. We use our Command T or our character palette. Let me zoom out. That's this guy. Command T is our character or fonts. Right? And I was showing some people earlier, if you want spacing on these letters, see how the letters are touching because of the font style? Right here, the A and the T, you guys see it? You use what we call tracking. That is a space in between the letters, you guys see it? And you increase that using your shift. You don't want to go in here and click and hold and tap the space bar. That's not professional, all right? All right, and then I'm gonna rotate that. And sometimes you can scale it up a little bit to make it fit a little bit nicer. It's getting close, it's somewhere around here. I would say somewhere around there. All right, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. I'm gonna bring my drawing here. Oh, notice it turned kind of black. That means it's got that transparency on it. Let's put normal. There it is. All right. So I've got my sticker going on. I was also showing students over here in the back that you can outline a font. We'll go over that. Shift Command O, and that means my font is now outlined, and I can manipulate that and individually manipulate them. I could do this. What if I wanted to do something custom? All right, like that. Rotate that T. And I'm almost done. I know you guys are like, we just want to get started. No, okay, so there it is. What if I did that one? Actually, that looks better. I like that one. Group them, Command G. I like this one better. It looks more custom. Very nice. All right, say this was our simple sticker. I know you guys are gonna want to do more. That's fine. Huh?
We have the word chill.
Potato chill?
Like chill potato.
Chill potato. Okay, you got it. Chill. I'll choose another font. I like that one. Somewhere around there. All right. Let's save this. You have always save, always name it something. We'll call it potato sticker. Always an Illustrator is an AI file, Adobe Illustrator, right? You don't do JPEG, PNG, none of that. It's always an AI file. We can export, we can save multiple ways. And then this is gonna be the last part. And I'm gonna post this file in the Schoology tonight, later today. This is gonna be very important. Now, this is an actual color, and you guys will learn this in Illustrator and Photoshop. Sometimes a certain color or swatch, right? Let's go to Windows swatches. And I'm going to introduce this to you guys here. Notice how this one says cut contour. You guys see this? This is a custom swatch from Roland, the people who make that big printer. And if anywhere you draw this, now be aware, you can't hide it. If it exists in your Illustrator file, it's going to cut. It doesn't matter if you told it not to have any color. So it's really important. You only want one cut line per sticker. Now, how do I get this into the other one? I can copy it. I can come over here. And remember how I made a layer that's called cut line? I'm going to paste it in front, Command F. So now I introduce this swatch to this file. You guys see it? It's very light and pink. It's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in. I'm gonna make it a thicker stroke so you guys can see it. Stroke color right here. Stroke weight. All right, there you can see it. That's not usually how visible it is, right? But this actual color, you cannot change it. Do not convert it to CMYK. Do not convert it to RGB. Now, if I want to cut this sticker a simple circle, I just draw it. You guys watching? And without this, the printer over there will not know where to cut. And then you just place it like this. All right. Now, again, you don't want to place more than one cut line. And I'll tell you why. Because if you do, then it'll cut twice. All right. And if they're not perfectly lined up, you'll get a double cut. And that looks weird. So here's what's cool about this. This cut line also falls into any of the rules of Illustrator. So you can make cut lines that are hand drawn with a pen tool. Check this out. I could literally have this as a cut line. I could make like a blob shape or a hand. I'm just making this blob shape. That could be a cut line. And it'll cut that shape. All right. Yeah, you could do custom cut lines. Now here's what's cool. What if you wanted to do something super custom? Watch this. If I get circles and I do this and I hit rotate. Right. Sorry, I was trying to find the center of this. Oh, by the way, Illustrator has guides. You can do guides to help you. I'll show you guys all this. All right, I'm like literally minutes away from finishing, so you guys won't die of boredom and you get on your drawing. But you can see right there, watch this. So if anything falls into the rules of Illustrator, so you could do this stuff, check it out. You guys looking? And I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this option rotate thing. And I select that, and I use my Pathfinder that I used earlier, wherever that went, it hid from me. Oh, there it is. So I just made a custom cut line. Look at that. That will cut exactly like that, like a, yeah. Yeah, so that would cut exactly like that. Okay, cool. So I could bring that over here and I would scale this down, or I'd scale up the background color and it would literally cut it that shape. So when my sticker's done, it would be that shape. Cool. So you can manipulate it, you can do whatever you want, but this is all we're looking for. A background color, a cut line, and your artwork and some text. All right. All right. So we only got about maybe 15 minutes left. If you want to work on your final drawing, remember this final drawing, we're gonna take pictures of it as soon as we can in class, next class, and then we're gonna put this sticker together and print it out. Cool? Yes? Yes? Oh, you need help? Okay. Let me stop recording.